let's get started with another round of conversation. Hello again, everybody. It's me, Komal, your relationship coach, or your relationship doctor, with my daughter, Srishti, the artist, the animator. Yeah. That's her new craze, to put on henna on the hand.
Which she doesn't let me do on her hand.
You do it on your hand.
But anyways.
Okay, yeah, our banter will keep going on. Okay, so what are we going to discuss today, Srishti?
So we're going to discuss another top question. Do you need to be in a relationship to be happy and to live a good life?
I guess you mean be in either a romantic relationship or a married relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because otherwise you would need to be in any sort of relationship.
And it's not need. We do have a lot of relationships in our life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're born in family, two parents, we have siblings, or maybe, and then we have friends, mentors, teachers, and all those are relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think primarily the question is, do you really need to get married or to have a romantic relationship in your life to be happy?
Yeah. From the movies, their answer is yes.
Yeah, the romantic idea. I think the more realistic answer would be no. I don't think it's a compulsion.
Right.
I don't think your happiness or your fulfillment in life actually depends on whether you've chosen to get married or whether you choose to live a life without getting married. I think the broad answer is that if you have some meaning and some purpose in your life, which is engaging for you, which drives you and your decisions, I think you can pretty much be happy. There are actually a lot of examples of people who would dedicate their life to their passions. Like there are some researchers, some scientists, artists for that matter, or doctors or physicians or politicians, for whom they find more fulfillment in life when they are following a certain purpose in life.
Right.
Right.
So what makes you happy is your purpose. Or what drives you is your purpose.
What drives you is your purpose, yes. Yeah.
Mm.
In fact, a lot of people will actually say that if you have to live a miserable life, you get into a relationship.
That's such a dad humor.
Yeah, which I think also is not entirely true, because relationships bring, your marriage, having a partner, having children also bring a lot of meaning and purpose to your life.
Right.
So I think it doesn't matter whether you marry or you do not marry. What matters is whether you have a purpose in your life or not.
But a lot of times, you also need support, right?
Yes.
Which a partner can provide you with. And without that, like, what are you going to do? I mean, I guess humans can always learn to be or they can find other people to support them, like their friends. Like, I've noticed a lot of people who are not in relationships, or like older, they tend to have a lot more friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that like compensating for maybe like the support or just experiences that you wanted to live with other people?
Absolutely. I think you've hit on the key point here, which is, as humans, we are not born to live or thrive alone within ourselves. We are social beings. We are spiritual beings. So we need communities around us. We need support of people around us to help us lead a happy and fulfilled and contented life, right? Most of us, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because human life has no survival without a society or without a community. And so you're right. So either you get that support from your partner, your family, or you get it from friends, or you get it from the communities that you participate and build around you,
Right.
right? It just depends. How do you look? What is your own personal vision for your own life, right? And of course, there are a lot of other things apart from just the support for your growth and your sustenance or your livelihood. Um, some people are built up in that way that they do not have the need for romance or need for sex in their life, so they don't even think of having a partner or getting married, right? Whereas if you are built in a way that or if you've been brought up in a way where these are essential things for our healthy happy life,
Right.
then of course, then marriage is a very well uh, I would say
Kind of like
suited proposition. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, one thing that I just thought of right now, even if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't depend on the other person to be happy.
That's a very, very good point.
Like, even if you're in a relationship, you're the only one who can make yourself happy. If you depend on the other person to continuously give you their happiness,
Yeah.
that just doesn't work.
Yes. And I would say that people can support you, people can be present with you, and people can be around you, but they cannot really make you happy.
No.
To your point, you can be happy if you want to be happy.
That is such a weird advice, because when you hear it, it's like, it feels like it's not your choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have a choice to look at things in a brighter way, but
let's
still.
just expand on that a little bit. What really makes, because it's a kind of a myth which is so widely prevalent, so deeply prevalent, that people although at somewhere deep down they may know that your happiness depends on you, but still we always sort of reach out to people outside of us for that happiness or for that fulfillment.
It could be because the happiness comes from within us, but they could be like a trigger for that happiness to come out.
Okay.
So like, if I'm watching a movie, I enjoy the movie, but I'm watching it with that person. Though I am enjoying it, the enjoyment is coming within me, but I think that this person is here with me. So that
Okay.
I don't know if I'm making
talk
sense.
about this. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
So, so what you're saying is you have a specific way to feel happy, right?
Okay, yeah. So if I give you a flower right now, you will feel happy.
I will.
That happiness did not just emerge from that happiness was always inside of you. I just triggered it.
Okay. a very, very important and wise point to note. Yeah. So, what we can probably do for each other is give that little trigger for happiness.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point, then in that case, even our sadness and misery is also within us.
It is.
And what others are probably doing is just
Triggering it. We cracked the code.
okay, yeah. So your happiness, your sadness, your state of being lies just within you, but people around you just offer you that hint, that trigger for you to find and explore. And in that case, even love,
Yeah.
right, is something. So we are going on this mathematical deduction, right? So in that case, even love is within you. And what others do is they just offer you the opportunity or that trigger to experience the love that is within us.
See, okay, so when you share some feeling, like if I share some sort of feeling with you, and you don't have that feeling in you, like you've just never experienced it, like let's say you've never experienced jealousy, and I'm talking about jealousy, it would make sense that you would understand, but you don't understand because you just don't have that feeling within you.
Or maybe you do not know how to identify that feeling within you because you haven't had sufficient experience with that kind of feeling.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay. We started from do you really need to be married and in a relationship to be happy? And now we are going into a deeper conversation of that. All the feelings, all the sentiments, all the mindsets are within you. The people around us are just trigger, or in the coach's language, we say are the mirrors who show us what's within us. Right?
Yeah.
So some incident or some person can draw out the jealousy within us. Somebody can draw out deep affection and love from within us. Somebody can draw out just a sheer innocence and happiness from within us, right? So it's important for us to identify that all of that is within us. Others are only being the catalysts or the mirrors or the triggers. Yeah. See, there are so many words. We can call it anything, right? Yeah. So does this bring us to a conclusion that when all of that is within us, do we really need those external triggers to experience those?
I would say we do, because although everything is within us, they're also kind of like levels. Like in a video game that you have to unlock through like maybe fighting the bosses. So like experiencing it. And you can't experience everything alone. So you need your co-op friends to fight with you.
Or your catalysts or your triggers.
Yeah. To fight with you, to go to the next level and be like, okay, wow, new feeling unlocked, new experience unlocked.
Lovely. I'm loving it. And I'll also give you a metaphor. So when we think about the thoughts, the emotions, everything, emotions are sometimes explained with the metaphor of water. Like flowing water, flowing emotions, right? So water is otherwise stands still, right? But if you give it an unlevel ground, it flows.
Yeah.
Right? And so wherever there is, and they always say in our local language that water always go to the lower side.
I would love to understand what you're saying right now, but what does that mean? What is the lower side in this metaphor?
I don't know. What do you think?
Water always flows to the lower side.
Mm-hmm.
Where it needs to?
Okay, it could be in a broad sense that the one who has a lot of emotions within them, or the ones who have, I would say, because all of us have got a lot of emotions within us. Some of us are more in touch and more in tune with our emotional sides.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us know how to express those emotions quite a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are more readily able to give out and give away our emotions. So maybe it could be that level of difference, that it flows
That makes sense.
from that level to the level of lesser awareness, probably. But it's always a flow. So you do need a conductor. You do need a difference of level for that energy or for that water or for that emotion to flow from us. What happens if we do not have anybody around us to catalyze or to trigger us or our emotions or our feeling of happiness or contentment?
It wouldn't be balanced. The water would just
Stay.
yeah. Or if there is like uneven ground or what, it'll just go all the way down and the top part will be all barren. Using the metaphor.
Yes, we are now lost in the metaphors. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in a certain age and stage in our life, or when our life experiences are not quite vast or mature,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's natural and it's normal to feel more up and down of emotions within us, and that sort of forms our worldview and our choices and our decisions, right? But once you have either reached a level of maturity or awareness, or after a lot of life experience, you come to a point where your emotions aren't going up and down. They aren't like a river coming down from the hills. They are more like a river running on the ground, in the plains. Another metaphor.
All these metaphors.
See, okay, let me give you an example. So, what is the pathway of the river? It originates from some place, maybe in some higher hills or lake or some glacier which melts. And then it always flows down, right? Wherever there is a lower level of ground, it flows towards that, right? And so when the river is coming down from the hilly terrain, it's like rushing and gushing, and the flow of water is really fast.
But that's the fun of it.
That's
when you're having fun.
Hear me out, right? And then when it reaches the plain areas where the level of ground is almost sort of, same, there how the river looks like. It's not a gushing and rushing, but it's more deep and wide and more calmly moving. The water is still moving, it continues to move, but on the surface, it's not that rushing and gushing that you can notice. But what you notice is it's maybe widespread to cover more land, or it will be very deep. But it will continue to move.
Right.
So I think youth or young age is that water flowing from the hillside where it's rushing and gushing and full of energy and excitement and showing off and just in a rush all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the later part of life, when there is more awareness and maturity, it's more like a calmly flowing water. So you and me could have same emotions, but it's just that your expression would
You're
be
going
different.
like this, I'm going like
Would be different, right?
all right.
And because we are experiencing our own way of being, our own emotional states differently, our decisions and choices would be different, right? So coming back again to the question of relationships and partnerships, the need for partnership or need for marriage or a need for having a companion in your life has a different meaning in young age and has a completely different in a older age, right? So because your maturity and your awareness is different, and then your life choices and life decisions and lifestyles are also different,
Right.
and that is why in young age and I would say that everybody would have the same kind of experiences, because there are people who would rather have all their energy invested into their passions, or if they are lucky enough to find what is it that is their purpose in life in a young age, that will get a lot of their attention and energy, and life would still feel fulfilling. But having said that, there are some specific needs for every particular age. So you need to make your own choice as to whether in the vision of your life there is a place for an intimate partner, or there is place for community, friends, or social relationships around you.
And I think it's also important to ask yourself that why you want to get in a relationship in the first place. What is it that you're expecting like would happen if you're in a relationship? And if it's something like, oh, all your problems will be fixed, that's usually not the case. Unless you marry a Prince Charming or are in a relationship and it's like a Disney movie.
Yeah. Happily ever after happens only in romantic movies or fairy tales. It takes a lot of effort, lot of understanding, lot of maturity, and lot of pain to make ever after happily. It does.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's not happily ever after, it is ever after happily.
Oh, that should be like a logo for you. Should make like t-shirts. So you know.
Ever after happily. Okay, so with that, Benter, I think we've given a long-winded answer to the question of, do you really need relationships or marriage or romantic relationship to be happy? No. You need an understanding that your happiness lies within and others are not responsible for it. Others are only showing you what you have got within you. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.